is sick as a dog, but it's still hanging in there. Sick, sick, sick. But happy holidays to you. Now, let's touch on this because it needs to be said. As I try to get myself back to health. The Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Let's talk about this because it needs to be said. Because nobody gives it the proper, conversation it deserves. And I think we need to really cover the Dallas Cowboys right now. Doing this a lot earlier than I expected because we are not feeling well. So people don't get a notification or anything. I apologize to all of those who didn't get a notification. I just don't know what else to do because I might be asleep now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. Dak Dakota Prescott. I have tried to defend this man on numerous occasions. Serious. I have tried, 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 because I have tried to give people the benefit of the doubt. I have tried to give everyone a fair shot. And I said, well, Dak could get better. We're looking too far into this thing. Dak Prescott will be the guy. Just give him time. That's all I kept saying constantly. Trying to get people to understand that Dak Prescott is who he is right now, but he will be the guy. Just give it time. And as long as we keep trying to pretend Dak Prescott is something that he isn't, we're lying to ourselves. And that's where the problems come in. That's when it becomes harder and harder for reality. And when you get reality mixed in with fiction and belief and hope, you start going blind to what your eyes actually see. And every year, Dak Prescott is showing you the type of quarterback he is, and he's always been. So when are we going to start believing our eyes and what we're actually seeing on the court? On the court, well, the field. Now, I remember saying when Dak Prescott took over for Tony Romo, I said, well, the Dallas Cowboys can do no wrong here because Tony Romo is damaged. Like he's no good anyway. This is the best thing that could have ever happened to them. And by disguise, this could save their season because they're not going to go anywhere with Tony Romo. And people just don't get what we mean by that. Bless you. Well, bless me. Oh, whew, man. Sweating out this cold. Now, what I meant is they're not going to go to a championship. The Eagles' goal is, I mean, not the Eagles, but the Dallas Cowboys' goals are championship. Every year they start talking this, we got to go to the championship type talk, and they move to that beat of that drum every single year. Every single year. Now, Dak Prescott, they look at Dak numbers. They go, well, Dak did this with the numbers. Dak put up this many yards. Dak did this. Dak Prescott puts up numbers when the team is down. This is the most LeBron James thing I have ever seen in my life. He puts up numbers when no one else is there, or there's no time to come back, or it's either going to be a fourth quarter Dak Prescott comeback or you're going to lose the game, which they used to call prevent points in the NFL, where they say stat padded in the NBA. These are called prevent points. When the other team is just in prevent because they're up by so much, they don't mind you running out the clock, doing whatever it is that you think you're doing at the time. They don't seem to care. Now, let's take this for instance. This is what Dak Prescott does. Look at this. Telegraphed one receiver, and his receiver falls down. The interception, right? It was right on point, but the defender was all over him. He was never open to begin with. And this is to the Saints to start the season off. The Cowboys lose to teams that they're supposed to beat more than any other team that's supposed to be Super Bowl contender. There's no way you should be losing to the New Orleans Saints. And when it's because of your quarterback that's putting you in these situations, but his horrible quarterback play. Look at this. It's a badly thrown ball. That guy was never open, forcing it to CD Lamb, right? It was never open. When you're getting beat 41-19, that's letting you know a couple of things. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. When you're getting beat by the New Orleans Saints, it's not complicated what they're doing. Instead of hitting Turpin on the turn, you forcing the ball to CeeDee Lamb and trying to make everyone happy instead of trying to win football games. And it's starting to cost you. Now, everyone's arrived to this point, right? Yeah, so Dak Prescott has put everyone in a position to where they could reevaluate his play. Mhm. Well, Dak's playing contract, look at that. That's just awful. Look at that. Never open. Never open. Forcing the ball to CD yet again. Killing drives because of poor decision making. Yep, empty calorie stats. Now here we go. Dak Prescott. Look. He ever turn and look anywhere else? Throwing a deep ball, going neck for neck. The guy looked like he's open, right? Nope. Good coverage. Overthrown ball. These are just interceptions. We don't even have to go through the championship game, right? When we're talking about Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott in situational, you know, opportunities, especially in the playoffs, he comes up short. And it's always in red zone type situations or within the 20. He seems to find a way to turn over the ball or cost the Cowboys victory. Look, that's just horrible play. He was never open. He was covered completely. It's like he didn't even see the guy there. So my take is you're never gonna win with a guy like that. You're not gonna win with Dak Prescott. He's not gonna lead you to a Super Bowl. That's not gonna happen. And right now, you should know Dak Prescott is the problem, not the solution. Now, here's the good news for the Cowboys. His contract situation is currently favorable for the Cowboys. They restructured his contract, which includes a signing bonus and guarantees to give them some salary cap relief. So it's freed up nearly 37 million in cap savings. So you could use that for various spending purposes, right? During the free agency. But this base salary and restructured bonus and workout bonus with the cap hit, that's crucial for the financial planning for the team. But the Cowboys are now in position to make a strategic decision regarding should they even keep him because he has a no trade clause. So his involvement, it's just, I mean, Jerry Jones is the reason for this, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it's not rocket science. Let's call it what it is. This is Jerry Jones not wanting to, take off the reins or be wrong about a decision that they made. He will ride out a decision all the way because it's his decision. So Jerry don't want to be wrong. It's Jerry's way. And as long as Jerry's the guy, the Cowboys are gonna ride that wave. You're gonna play the Dallas Cowboy way, you're gonna play Jerry's way. Nothing's gonna change until it's Jerry's time to go. But Dak Prescott is what you would call a good backup quarterback. The Dallas Cowboys have gotten nothing but backup quarterbacks from Troy Aikman. I mean, not Troy Aikman, but from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott backups. So you started backup quarterbacks, and here we are. When they had Bledsoe, he was backing up at that time. So it's a difficult situation for people who don't understand what it's like to be a number one quarterback. And they hand the reins over once Bledsoe was injured. They handed over to Tony Romo, and he had a fluke season, and then they kept riding with Tony. And what did happen? All these 12 win seasons, he couldn't get the job done in the playoffs because in the playoffs, they have nothing to do but focus on you. Tony Romo couldn't get the job done. But Tony Romo was a lot better than Dak Prescott. Dak used to be more mobile, but Tony could throw the ball more accurately than Dak. So these dynamics kept getting in the way of one another. Hmm. Well, that's what happens when you have a player in 2016 and Dak Prescott. People think Dak played like 30 years. He's played like nine. He came in what, 2016? Fifth round draft pick. Happy holidays, bro. Now, Jared Goff was the number one draft pick that year, then Carson Wentz, right? Now, Carson Wentz, I don't even know if he's still in the league anymore. Yeah. Yeah, what? Paxton Lynch, who went ahead of Dak, but they took Jalen Smith with the second round pick, Dallas did. I didn't say they had Ezekiel Elliott. They took Zeke and they went to Jalen Smith in the second round. I mean, the second pick in that draft, knowing they needed a backup for Tony Romo going into the draft. People said, hey, why don't you make a deal? Get a QB, get anybody you can in this situation to be your number two, your backup to Tony. Tony's getting old. Tony can't make it. Now, they could have had Jacoby Brissett and had him be the backup. They was like, look, Jacoby Brissett is in this draft. Take Jacoby Brissett. Everybody thought they would take him, and they go all the way to almost the fifth round, and they take Dak Prescott from Mississippi State. Mississippi State. Now, granted, Dak, out of all these quarterbacks, have had the better career. You know, if it was between him and Kevin Hogan, then yeah, of course, of course, Dak outperformed a lot of these quarterbacks as far as arcade stats and all of these different numbers that they brought to the forefront. But Jacoby Brissett would have been a lot better than what they ended up with. Hell, even Jeff Driscoll was throwing better passes from Louisiana Tech. But this is the Cowboys' fault. After Tony Romo went down, right, and Tony's about to be out of there, they didn't even secure a backup for Dak. Romo was like, I'm going to go in retirement. They got him a plus job. They never thought about getting a backup for Dak. Anybody that's credible. They just let him go in the wind. So you got a poorly ran organization by a person who doesn't understand the times or delusional, whatever it might be. And he just wants Dak Prescott to work. They were asking for Trey Lance to be the quarterback. Every postseason, this guy has cost you at home. This is 2 years in a row the Dallas Cowboys are missing the playoffs. Can you believe that? The Dallas Cowboys are missing the playoffs 2 years in a row with all the money they spent. Anybody else would be ran out of the league. How could you? Like, how could you even fathom any words or put anything together to make any sense out of what you just heard? They needed to find a way to justify Dak Prescott. He had to work because they made the decision. But they didn't put anything behind him and they didn't sign him to a 30-year deal, $30 million deal, which is a drop in the bucket, knowing that the market was going to change. Then you end up having everybody contracts due at the same time as y'all put all your stock into Ezekiel Elliott, knowing how he was. Oh, absolutely. Dakota, yeah, it was a big problem for Dakota at that time. Well, we'll take you to the next shoe that was going to drop right after it because next year, when the Bears did the biggest screw up to set them back, but we still prospered even with the setback of Mitchell Trubisky at number two. We was a double doink away from making something. So Mitch Trubisky was brought in at the number two. After Miles Garrett, of course, was number one. Then Deshaun Watson went 21st. And it didn't make any sense at the time to not get a backup quarterback for Dak Prescott. Somebody that could be the guy that you could really get to in this draft, right? You really want to get in there and get the right guy for the job. Cleveland every year just seems to like no matter what, they're gonna take a quarterback. That's just how they operate. It's all about the development of it's all about the development. Well, that is the Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes draft when it went into quarterbacks, but there was also backup cornerback. But the defense is so bad, they had to find someone else that could be, suitable. Dak Prescott has a serious ankle injury. and had him out. He had to have 2 surgeries on his ankle, which pretty much took away one of his valuable weapons, and that's him scrambling out of the pocket. And I'm like, okay, you secure Dak and you give him a no trade clause. You win all these games, and then you because of his poor play, you're out every time in the playoffs. So it's like, what does it matter if you're going to the playoffs and you keep getting knocked out? Since he got that contract, have they even been in the playoffs? You lose in the first round of the playoffs. You don't even get to a conference championship game. How bad is that? You can't even get to a conference championship game. Joe Milton is a solid backup quarterback to me. Then put Joe Milton in the game. He should be playing tonight or today. I'd rather start now because every year the Cowboys act as if they're going to the championship and they spend all of this money. Yeah, they spend tons of money on Dak Prescott. They want the team to be successful, but it just isn't. Dak is one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, and he don't even make the playoffs for the second year in a row. He's got all this money into CD Lamb, who is proven he's more height than talent. You have Pickens, who was playing for a contract, might have just played himself off the Dallas Cowboys. Is let Jerry go ahead and have to spend more money to keep Pickens. Then you got Ferguson, your tight end. You're gonna probably lose him soon. You gotta pay him. And what about your offensive line? And then your defense. Tight boat. Oh, 100%. Well, they went to the Jets and they got Quentin Williams, and that's gonna be more money for the Cowboys. The defense could play great, but if your offense can't put up points, all they can do is you got one of the best field goal kickers in football. So it's like, what's the common denominator? How are we not even making the playoffs? How the hell are we losing to the Charlotte Hornets? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're gonna pay him. And Dallas is gonna be spending all this money to not go to the playoffs. Here it is, the Eagles with a game manager and just and Jalen Hurts, right? And Dak is playing better than him, but that guy's going to Super Bowls. He's got all the endorsements, all the sponsorships. He got all these deals coming his way. But yet, heard nothing about nobody else. So if he could do as poorly as he's playing and get to the Super Bowl, get into the playoffs, and he got a Super Bowl ring to go with it, like what is everybody else doing? Dak ankles are gone. He's never been an accurate quarterback. He can only throw slants and a deep ball. He can't read the field correctly. You can easily confuse him. The quarterbacks can read his eyes, close in on the ball. Then you have receivers who are not great route runners like CD Lamb. And you end up in these type of situations. Hey, Merry Christmas.